Hi, I'm Enchanting Nubia Net. Welcome back. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Today I'm focusing on a very chilling news story that is an eye opener, especially for parents. In Vista, California, a North County babysitter with her boyfriend both arranged to sexually abuse many children. They abused multiple girls, and she had asked to be the caretaker for these children. Thankfully, justice was served, and she is now facing 100 years to life in a state prison. Now, this North County babysitter's name is Brittany Mae Lyon, who is a full grown woman, 31 years old. She advertised her babysitting services online, and she expressed interest to parents specifically to work with special needs children. And again, as I mentioned, her and her boyfriend, his name is Samuel Cabrera, they abuse these children. Such an awful, awful circumstance, tragedy, crime. Now, the prosecutors said that the girls, their ages were from 3 years old to 7 year olds. Young children, these are preschool and elementary age children. Two of the victims were diagnosed with autism, and one was nonverbal. The child was not even able to communicate what was happening to them. It's so horrific for them, these two adults, to take advantage of these children in this way and to advertise themselves as people who are decent and had the best intentions for children. The couple was arrested in 2016 after one of the victims thankfully told their mother about the abuse. Now, following Cabrera's arrest, the private investigators found video recordings of the crimes on computer hard drives inside his car. Thankfully, the evidence was right there. It's amazing how people are so sick, doing these crimes that they even want to keep a trophy, keep the evidence. But thankfully, it was able to be used against him. The San Diego County District Attorney's Office said, in quotes, hundreds, end of quotes, of videos on 6 separate hard drives showed Mr. Cabrera and Miss Lyon the horrible things they were doing to the children, and some of them, they even went a step further, everyone. Listen to this. Not only did they violate them, putting their hands on them, but they even gave them substances and they bound them during the assaults. These are just, I can't even say they're human people. I mean, they're just horrific, animalistic people. Animals, just animals. Just even think about doing this, preying on young children. So, regarding Mr. Caprera, he's also 31 years old. He was convicted by the Vista jury of nearly 3 dozen counts and was sentenced in 2021 to 8 life without parole terms. Plus, I'm so happy for this, so happy. Plus, more than 300 years to life in state prison. Now, that's the type of judge that needs to preside over so many of these cases, especially when it comes to children and elderly people, and even harming people, period. So, Miss Lyon pleaded guilty earlier this year to 4 felony S crime counts and stipulated to the 100-year to life prison term. Now, the Deputy District Attorney Jody Breton said, in quotes, what made her the perfect vehicle for these crimes was the benign and harmless nature of her appearance, her background, and the way she presented herself to these victims' parents. She seemed like the perfect babysitter, the perfect person someone could trust. End of quotes. That goes to show, just because, she looks like a plain young lady, she comes across as educated, she comes across as very enduring, charismatic. Those are the people you have to watch out for. There's no such thing as just looking at someone's external appearance and making the assumption that they're such a good person, that they're an outstanding citizen, especially when it comes to children. So this is a wake-up call to everyone. And there are so many parents, as we know, who are working very hard. They have even more than two jobs, many of them. But you must take the time to vet who is taking care of your child. You need to look at thorough background checks, know about, you know, recommendations, people they know, and make sure these are verified and not something that they have formed or put together to show you, because many people are doing that these days, just like a resume. Or maybe they have a friend um, give feedback on their behalf. You really need to do your thorough research when it comes to children. That is your legacy. Invest the time and even money to find out who this person really is. What is their true character? So let's continue on with the news story. Several of the victims' parents, they were present at the Thursday sentencing hearing that took place in the morning, and they described the trust they had in Miss Lyon, and they were so shocked learning about the crimes. Anyone would be very shocked. You don't want to think of, and you don't readily think of people harming children in this way. One woman said that Miss Lyon had asked to take her autistic daughter on outings that were intended to assist Miss Lyon in her studies, thinking about her academics, and her pursuit of a degree related to child development. Was she even going to school for this major? Because I would think if you really focus on, child development or anything having to do with working with children in education, social work, or what have you, you would have more compassion. But then again, so many people choose these professions so they can be close and get access to children. So, in quotes, it says, "You knew how to win our trust and manipulate to get what you want." End of quotes, a woman said to Miss Lyon. Another woman whose daughter was only 3.5 years old at the time of the abuse told Lyon, in quotes, "You are the most sick and evil monster that society has. What you did to these innocent and most helpless children without any conscience, care, or concern, or ounce of remorse is unfathomable." End of quotes. That's definitely saying exactly what applies to her, because this person is sick, and thankfully, both of them are locked away for so many years. I'm so happy to hear it's multiple decades. They don't deserve to leave jail. So her statement continued, the parent, she said in quotes, "You lied and betrayed the trust of numerous parents over and over again for years. You offered them up to your disgusting partner and participated in this unspeakable abuse. And for what? What I can only imagine is your sick and evil boyfriend's attention, admiration, and acceptance." End of quotes. So yes, that's another point. There's a show, a crime show, and it's called For Your Man. And it's similar to this, where unfortunately they have people, especially unfortunately women, and they feel they need to keep their significant other, their boyfriend, their partner to please them in any way, shape, or form, even if it means committing a crime. And in this case, abusing children. There should have been a line drawn. She should have had boundaries. She should have known better. Why would you do this in order to keep your boyfriend? You want love so bad? Like, where's your self love? What kind of person would want you to harm children like this? But you know what? Sick, so she attracted a sick man too. That's all I can think about. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. So the mother of the then 7-year old girl, the victim who ultimately started and gave the her truth about what was happening, led to the couple's capture by telling her mother she no longer wanted to go anywhere with Miss Lyon, and she told Miss Lyon that she was a previously trusted friend. Now again, she seemed harmless. She seemed like she was so caring. Everything was a front, a facade. Just like the comedian Chris Rock said, when you meet people, you're meeting the representative. You're not meeting that real person. You don't know the true character until you get to know them over time. In quotes, it says, "We let you into our home and into our lives. Because of that, my family has endured almost 10 years of suffering and pain. The betrayal is a wound that has never healed." End of quote, she said. So both the woman and the prosecutor pushed back on any notion or idea that Miss Lyon was forced in any way by Mr. Cabrera to participate in the crimes. And the district attorney Brenton said text messages between the defendants showed Miss Lyon, in quotes, bartering with Mr. Cabrera to provide him with a child in exchange for going on dates. So this woman is so desperate to have a date that she is using a child as collateral. Really disgusting. And again, it's not like she's 16 years old. It's not even like she's 20, 21 years old. This is a 31-year-old woman. Disgraceful. Disgraceful. So the then 7-year-old's mother said, in quotes, "Your boyfriend did not make you do this and you know it," end of quotes. So Miss Lyon's defense attorney, who is Sloan Osby, read a letter written by Miss Lyon in which he apologized to the victims' families. So it is a long apology. And you know what, everyone? I'm not even going to, it's, I cannot take when someone commits a horrific crime or does something that offends people purposely and then want to give an apology. This is a lengthy apology. I'm not going to read it because I don't believe it's sincere, especially knowing that this crime occurred for a whole decade. I'm going to skip over it, everyone. So many of the parents expressed anger over the guilty plea and said that they wish the case had gone to trial in order for Miss Lyon to face a sentence similar to Mr. Cabrera's, which lacks the possibility of parole. I definitely agree 100%, everyone. So, everyone, this is a case that I wanted to share with you because everyone, we need to make sure that we are doing our due diligence to know exactly who we're dealing with, whether it's a friendship, romantic partnership, especially marriage, anyone who's taking care of your child, even your pets, or your, your elderly loved ones. You need to know who someone is. Take your time to get to know them. And I'll just leave with this. The parents said that due to elder parole laws, which allow prisoners to petition for parole beginning at age 50, they feared Miss Lyon could be released early. So, the district attorney, Brenton, stated these concerns and said that they hope the legislators would re-examine elder parole laws when applied to S offenders. In quotes, nothing about turning 50 makes you no longer a danger to children, end of quotes, the prosecutor said. I agree wholeheartedly. Just because you reach a certain age doesn't mean that you should have a tap on the wrist or that you should have less accountability or consequences. Good for them for thinking ahead. So, everyone, what do you think about this horrific news story? Have you heard of it, and what are your thoughts about it? Thank you, everyone, for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Stay safe wherever you are, and keep your head on a swivel.